Hello and welcome to the. Wait, guys, is this the 20th Planet Destiny podcast?
Hey,
We hit number
the big
20.
2-0.
Awesome.
We're almost legal to drink next year.
Yeah.
Nice.
We have Briar Rabbit. We have Pope Bear. Tefty was not able to make it. He had a long weekend and had to catch up on some work today. But in his place, we have a guest here. He has actually been on some Planet Destiny videos before. He is no stranger to us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name's LT John from Invigorate Gaming. How are you guys doing tonight?
Awesome. So, LT John here, as he said, is from Invigorate. First off, what is Invigorate?
Well, I've been asked that a lot before. With some of the when we did interviews with you guys, and especially on my streams. Invigorate Gaming is just pretty much as a group of guys, that met up in beta. We started off pretty small. At one point, we were just kind of inviting everybody, and just a group of guys in beta decided to play together. We had some good members on there that stuck around and competed on a lot of world first titles in Destiny, and we just love the PvP. We love the game, and that's what we're doing here now. So
Awesome. So yeah, you guys had the world. How many world firsts have you gotten?
we've gotten two. The first one was hard mode Vault of Glass, and then the second one was normal Crota. So it was kind of back to back, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
LT John here. He knows his shit about the game. So let's get into some of the new weekly things. For weekly things, we got the weekly update today. Pope, I know you're really into this kind of stuff. How much did we Guardians find? What's the final total for?
The final total for raising money for a company called or a program called Direct Relief, $1,026,006.80. Is that the total amount?
Yes, that is the total amount that was raised.
Wow, that's crazy.
The giant check in the picture.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! I knew it was over $1 million, but I mean that's just crazy.
Yeah, like I know Activision ended up kicking in a little bit more as well after to match the Bungie Foundation's total donation as well.
Right.
So yeah, and the cool thing about that is I'm getting a T-shirt. I don't know about you. I mean, everyone that did it, you're getting a T-shirt, you're getting a shader in game, you're getting an emblem. I know,
and you can really feel good about that too.
Yeah.
Rocking that T-shirt, rocking that emblem in game, you can feel good about, hey, I spent a couple dollars to help some people who really needed it.
Yeah.
Win-win situation right there.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be rocking the shader in game because my current Aru's passage from Trials of Osiris is like, it's perfect, and that red, white, and blue shader just
USA.
Wait, the Nepalade. Yeah, so it ain't gonna work, but I will rock that T-shirt.
Oh, am I the only one that really thinks that Prism Dancer is awesome?
What's Prism Dancer?
It's the shader from the Queen.
Oh, I love it. I feel fabulous when I wear it.
Yeah, that's a good word. Fabulous is a good word.
So here's the outfit. I got the
all right. Tell me.
Titan helmet with the wings on it.
Okay.
The Titan, the Exile pants that have like the fishnet assless chaps look going on.
I know it.
And that shader, and I'm rocking it, man. I'm looking good.
That shader looks the best on my Titan. I completely agree.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you think they would have made more donations if they had that shader instead of the red, white, and blue?
I would have doubled up.
Oh.
I've been having fun with those gauntlets too. Those gauntlets are a lot of fun to use.
They really are. Oh my god. Yeah.
You throw down a bubble, and it's not a blinding bubble, which is a bummer. But the charge effect, the splash damage on when you get meleeed is pretty substantial.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Do you think it's like a hit from like a grenade almost?
No, it's not. It's not
grenade?
that powerful. It's about in PvP it does 75 damage, but basically it's just enough so that if someone melees you and then you melee them back,
They're
you
dead.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like they jump into your bubble and they're like, "Aha! I got you!
I got you. I'm gonna hit
And
you."
they're like,
Oh,
"Oh."
yeah. There is a cooldown on those gloves too.
Do you know what the cooldown is?
It's about 3 seconds. I got to use all the I got to use them on. No, actually, did I get them on my Titan? Yeah, I got them on my Titan. It's been so long I can't remember what accounts I've played and what I haven't.
Well, are you guys feeling like, I know we talked about it at the last podcast, but I'm really at that point where there's so much to do on all my characters that I'm not getting to all of it.
Yes.
I'm not literally, I'm like having to be selective, and I have a job and I only get to play in the evenings. But so it used to be where I could get everything done during the week. I could do all the dailies, I could do all the weeklies, I could do all the raids, and every bit of content where there was a reward, I would have it completed by the time the next week by the reset. And I have honestly not completed, I'd say, on two of the three of my characters. So I've completed the raids on one of my characters in the last 2 weeks.
Like the raids or Prison of Elders?
No, the raids.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Like and then when I go to talk about Prison of Elders, I've focused on the new content, obviously, but I haven't even gotten. I haven't taken all of my characters through 35. I've only taken one of them through 35,
right.
And then the rest through 34.
I've
So
only done one character per week on 35.
it's just a lot of content, and I never thought I would be in a position where I would say that in Destiny, because it's been such a complaint that there has not been enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel like I've reached a saturation point where, like, okay, I have enough stuff to do that I don't. It's almost allowed me to, because I know that I can't reach the end point. I can't get all of it done. It's allowed me to relax now. That completionist side of me, the sort of obsessive compulsive part of me that needs to get everything done, knows that I can't possibly get everything done. So I've released that need to, and I'm enjoying the game more because I don't feel like I have to do everything.
Well, it sounds of it, you need to quit your job.
Yeah, you gotta prioritize
the game, man.
better.
I just need a game more.
Yeah, dude, just play the game. It's working out pretty well for me.
I'm so jealous about it.
No, but I know how you feel. Like before, you get all the bounties done, and then pretty much you grind out PvP, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, PoE, if you don't have a decent group in there, or your group members don't have the right weapons to burn Skola down or something like that, you're just pretty much stuck in there for at least an hour or two. If you keep
you have to do it like the real way.
Have you guys completed Skolas without using a burn strat?
Yeah, yes. Finally did it with the Void Burn this week for the first time.
Okay.
I have not. I've always used a burn strat.
Okay. Because
it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah. It took our Dado invited me to a party like last week. He wanted to actually, we just sat there for 2 hours and came up with an actual strategy that seemed like it would be foolproof. And we were able to think up a strategy, apply it, and it worked, and without using burning. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that it only took 11 minutes to kill him.
Wow.
Yeah,
impressive. So you're gonna keep us hanging?
Strategy ended up being like a relay race, like just basically doing laps around the entire arena.
No. Basically, what we did is everyone goes up on the left hand, as you enter the room, you go up to the left hand side, up on those staircases, and we would kill the thing, and then break his bonds. Yeah, break his bonds, and then we would, right when the bonds would break, we would immediately go to the other side of the arena where that really far mine is, over by there, and kill the ads that come out of that doorway, and then right when those were dead, the ads that spawned over on the side that we were just at would be pretty much making our way to there. And at that point, we would, what would we do?
Burn them.
We'd kill those ads, and then make our way back to that starting position. That was starting position 1, and then 2 was over by that mine. Mm-hmm. So we had positions 1 and 2. We'd go back to position 1, and then bring Skolas down to half health. If we felt that the ads were going to be dead long enough. If they weren't, we would just sit there, kill another wave of ads, and then bring Skolas down. And then once he was down to 50%, mines came out, deal with mines, hopefully without any ads or very minimal ads, and then position ourselves again at 1 or 2 to bring Skolas down again to trigger the next wave of mines.
So how'd y'all deal with the
I'm psyched
poison?
to hear your strategy because mine was completely different, but that means that there's multiple strategies for this arena. Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah,
What's
definitely.
yours, Briar?
Mine was basically to do laps around the arena. We had one guy just focusing on keeping our path clear of ads. One
Right.
guy who was basically, when he had time, he would put some damage on Skolas, or he would find the servitor that needed to be taken down. And one guy who was basically, he could do either, based on what was needed. And we basically kind of just traveled around the arena until we got to that halfway point, and then we would take out all the ads, do the mines, do it again for the 25% mines, and then burn them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, well, ours was a little bit safer.
Did you find the little side room thing?
Yes, the bottom room where the captains come out. There's like
Yep.
a little rabbit hole down there.
Yeah.
So what we would do after the bonds are down, we would go in there, and we would wait till our warlock had super revive, and when he picks up the poison, that's when we would burn Skull down enough to where the mines would come out, and we would send one hunter out to get all the mines using his invisibility, and the warlock would just kill himself with the poison, and then res himself again, and by that time all the mines would be already gone. And the hunter would just come back, and then we would reburn Skola, and then just do it again on the second mines. So
That's a
Gotcha.
good strat.
Yeah.
We were using like a relay method to like pass the thing around to all 3 people, and if one person died, we had to do a faster lap to pick him up
I see.
on the next lap.
Yep.
Yeah, with the
that's a-
warlock, it's really easy because he could just eat up that poison. So
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I love the fact that right now we're talking about multiple ways to get this done.
Right.
I love that.
Without the Galahorn.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, no Galahorn,
Right.
And not that there's anything, I mean, I don't want to get into that conversation. I honestly don't. Because that's a strat right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
That's a strat. So I just like to challenge myself to look at different strats, So let's see what else is out there. And, some people might ask me and have asked me on Twitter, like, why are you trying to find the hardest way to do something? And it's the reality is that I'm a video gamer. I enjoy games, and I realize that I came to the realization I'm not playing this for the reward. I'm playing it for the challenge. And if for me personally, I would like to discover different ways. It's like playing a game of chess. You're not going to find one strategy that works and then just keep doing it. You're going to want to, at a certain point, you can beat somebody using that strategy. Okay, great. Now let's adjust. Let's try something different and challenge ourselves. And I think that that's the part that I've really enjoyed, is that the Prison of Elders changing of burns has forced me to think of new strategies based on the weapons and the teams that I have and the players' abilities. Like you're just talking, LT. Hunter, Invis, Warlock, Revive. That might not, that strategy might work right now for this, but you might want to have a different strategy coming out if there's a different burn with a different modifier that doesn't allow, say, Trickle, for example. Would you be able to do that using Trickle?
You could, because you could just wait in that little rabbit hole the entire time until the warlock gets the super. So yeah, it would take a little bit longer.
Right. Well, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes for your super to form on Trickle with max intellect. So how many times do you have to wait? How many times would your super need to come up?
Just
eventually
twice.
you'd have to go out there and get those binds.
Just twice.
Right.
So that's 30. So you're basically looking at least 30 minutes of waiting. So you could be committed to that, or you could say, hey, let's try something different that,
Exactly. Especially if
Right.
I had if I wanted to play on my Titan or something, we wouldn't be able to do that strat. It'd be totally
Right,
different.
yep.
So we had to kind of change it up. But yeah,
Depending
I mean,
on your group, depending on the burn, it could be different.
exactly. So that's what I like about Prison of Elders. Anything can
Do
go.
you guys think the Skullus fight will ever have something that isn't like a burn? Will it have trickle? Will it have,
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope we get Nightfall esque Prison of Elders runs where we're looking at a level of the match where you're getting light switch or something similar to that, or and we're getting trickle or some combination of it that makes it almost mythic in its difficulty.
Yeah, I think it's okay if it is literally impossible one week. Like Bungie just goes so far, they're like, okay, here's
all of them on.
That would be great.
Yeah, it's really rough, and like if you can do it, you are elite. If you can't, then you're with the other 99.9% of Destiny players that just couldn't make it happen this week. But there's other stuff you can do. 32, 34. You can do the Nightfall. You can do the weekly. You can do Crota's End. You can do Vault of Glass. It's just level 35 is going to be really damn tough this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
that's okay.
I think they may just do that when we get closer to the next DLC, and maybe content's a little stale, and they're trying to mix things up a little bit, and people have higher gear and more weapons ascended and stuff like that, and the games are a little bit easier. I think we may just see that happening.
I think
Prison of Elders is going to get easier as we get that armor. You see the buffs on that armor are intense. And eventually we're going to have enough of that armor that Prison of Elders is just going to feel easier.
Oh,
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, like if there's a Nightmare week with Skullus, it's really gonna come. It could also come down to who has that armor that allows you to regenerate in the Fallen area faster, and maybe who actually got lucky on their Fallen weapons that actually got good rolls on them. That maybe it may actually.
It
help
is
you.
luck, isn't it? With
Yeah.
some of that.
Yeah.
The armor and the armor and drops, like the stats on the armor are RNG'd, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I like the
so
Shank
you're-
one. I think that's my favorite one. We need a lot of help with Shanks right now.
Wait,
so.
are there?
Oh, yeah,
there's
yeah.
more. There's more stuff than Shanks. Like there's
know.
more buffs that you could get that aren't just Shanks.
I
And
was
I'm
disappointed to find out that the captain one doesn't actually do more damage to the
Just stuns
captain.
him.
It just,
Mhm.
it keeps him from using his
Yeah.
abilities.
And it doesn't do it always.
No, it's got a chance to do it.
Yeah. So
I don't like that.
it's like the one that you want to get is the one that increases damage to Fallen.
Yep, that's
But
a good
the
one.
problem is it only does 75 damage. It's so pitiful.
Well, I that's one of the reasons why I personally don't like using Hawkmoon, is because I love the gun itself, but I have an issue with not knowing.
Unreliable.
Right?
Yeah, unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Anything that's has a chance to do anything. If I don't know going into an engagement what my gun is gonna do, I guess I just really have an issue with it.
I know what my gun's gonna do. It's gonna hit someone in the head, and it's gonna do damage. That's
Well, don't get defensive about your Hawkmoon, Mr. Hawkmoon.
Hey, did I tell you I got another one?
Yeah.
I got my
I think you
first
tweeted-
one in a couple weeks ago.
Yeah?
Yeah,
And you
first
play
one.
like crazy too.
Exactly.
Oh man.
We still have
It's,
one
it's
person
pretty
left
good.
in the clan that doesn't have it, and his name is Hawkeye.
Did you get it from PvP?
I actually, what did I? No, I got it from a Nightfall.
okay.
It was a Sepix Prime that dropped it for me.
Nice.
Now-
That's where I got my
now-
first.
For those people, I mean, I know we've been playing this game like crazy, and we assume that everybody knows what the Hawkmoon is and stuff like that. It's one of those guns that it's a hand cannon, and it's exotic, and it procs damage with 3 magical bullets that will do just a crap load of damage on your
Yep.
enemies. So
Headshot or not?
Headshot.
or not, yeah.
The cool thing about it in PvP is that the cool thing about the gun is that all 3 bullets can proc at the same time. So in PvP, if you get really, really lucky and hit someone in the head, you can have all 3 bullets proc and one-shot
It's
them.
like a sniper.
Yeah, there's like a 1 in 14,000 chance.
Yeah,
of
it's
that
it's some stupidly high chance for it, or stupidly low chance for it.
The
But
reason
it's
I ask
hilarious.
if you got it from PvP is because the legendaries for me have been raining
Gosh.
out of the Crucible. Like, I have gotten so many legendaries out of the Crucible in the last 2 weeks that, like, I don't know where to put them, and I don't have time to test them all, so I'm just deleting some of them that I never even tried.
That's an issue, right? I can't believe I said that issue.
Is it a bad thing? I mean,
I feel like I'm getting a lot of legendaries, but they all the same ones.
yeah, the scout rifle that looks like the Fang of Ute comes up a lot for me.
Spare change comes up a lot for me.
Yeah, spare change comes up a lot for me. Ill will comes up a lot.
I get that damn auto rifle like every single time.
Yep. I can't remember the name of that one.
The hand cannon, the Revenator,
Yep.
what is it called?
The Revelator.
Revelator. That's
Revelator.
right.
Yeah, I've probably received like 6 of those.
Yeah.
It seems
But,
like the grind for weapons have kind of like minimized. Now
They definitely minimize the grind for weapons, for
especially
sure.
with the reroll deal. So I mean, anybody could get. You only need to get that weapon now and just reroll the crap out of it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm debating on for our channel is, everyone wants us to review every single gun, which I would like to do that. The problem is, so many of these guns are so similar.
Exactly.
Like if you go, if just take a look at all the new weapons that came out,
Crash.
a lot of them are just like
Fellwinter. They're all the same. Really, it's
like they're all the same. And
Well, how do you advise people then? Because like I've had a lot of people asking me, I finally succumbed and I said, okay, I will get a shotgun, right? I will get a shotgun because I've never really had them. I don't use them in PvP. I refuse to use them.
you're dead to me.
And it's just I'm not being an elitist. I think people don't misunderstand that. I just don't enjoy that style of gameplay.
Sure.
It's not my style of gameplay. So I basically don't blink places with a shotgun, and I don't enjoy doing it. So that means that I tend to use mid-range snipers and then close range hand cannons. So I decided to explore that world. I'm going to learn how to blink shotgun, right? Feel dirty saying it, but
What do you mean learn? You just blink and use a shotgun.
it's you know what I've realized is that I used to be really like annoyed at blink shotgunning people, and I know it's super OP, but it's actually blinking is actually
an art.
kind of
Yeah,
it's kind of difficult.
There's a certain finesse you have to do it properly. Because
Right.
let me tell you, everyone's probably come across that guy who's just using a blink and a shotgun, and all you have to do is just slightly run forward, turn around, and shoot him because his reaction time's so slow, and he just kind of counts on blink to carry him.
I think
Right.
the best way to put it is just blink shotgunning has, I guess, a low skill cap.
Yeah.
You could learn it faster, and a lot more people could use it instead of not everybody could snipe, right?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to learn how to do blink shotgun than it is to learn how to MLG quick scope and do all that shit. Because I'm still learning that. It's hard.
I was with Pope until the Fellwinters happened, and then it became. I was a pulse rifle guy. I loved them, or fusion rifle. Sorry, I love fusion rifles. I thought they were fun. They were cool. Then they nerfed the hell out of fusion rifles. The Fellwinter all of a sudden got fusion rifle like distance to it, and I was like, well, what's the point anymore? It's like I might as well just switch to the Fellwinters because everybody's using it. I don't like the gameplay because it feels like I'm trading kills too frequently when I'm using a shotgun.
Right.
But I mean, they kind of ruined fusion rifles, so I just kind of went with it.
Here's my thing. Like we're all talking about just general Crucible, right?
Right.
Well, in the weekly update, one of the interesting things I saw was like the heat maps that they've been putting out of where people are doing encounters.
Which is pretty cool.
Which
Right.
is awesome. Yeah.
And it's something that I may mention was readily available on Bungie.net for Halo 3. You could look at heat maps for the last game you just played.
So I need to add that for
Oh, that
Destiny.
was old school. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Do you remember that? I
do.
remember when I was on
that.
a competitive team for a big team. We used to go back after the games were over that evening and
Analyze it.
go back and analyze, because you could use custom games, right, in 8v8, and just we would go back and go step by step. They had a time lapse where you could scroll up and down, and it had a little hash mark of when everybody died and by what weapon, at what point, and at what distance. So you could map out your engagements and what players tended to lose their engagements at what ranges, at what positions. And you could really go into great detail of what loadouts you wanted at what positions at what point in the game. And I felt like that service was really awesome for PvP players.
That's right.
And something that I think that Destiny could, based on these basic generalized thermal maps, they could really give us some really unique tools.
Definitely.
That stuff I bet will come. As Destiny matures, as Bungie.net matures along with Destiny, I think we'll see more of that. But right now, their focus is really on just making more content, getting the bugs out, making sure the stuff that we have works. Bungie.net used to be fantastic, Pope. I agree with you. It was incredible, the amount of information. And a lot of that stuff is still there from like Halo 3.
I was really surprised that on a map like Pantheon, which is just long sniper hallways, most of the fighting was taking place in a really in the waterfall area, which is a really close range area. And I'm like, why?
Well, did you run it? You guys might not run into this, but what I found a lot of times, the strategy was to hang back and wait for that 10-second timer to start for the little control point in the middle.
Oh, I
loved
loved
it
when
when
they did
happen.
that. Yeah, I loved it when the enemy team did that, because we would just punish them. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
They'd wait in the very back.
5 rounds, they could not.
You
beat
trap
us
yourself
spawn.
in the corner like that, and you're gonna get punished. Yeah.
One team was so bad that they actually stayed on that platform you spawn on with snipers.
Oh my god!
Just sniping down, and like basically they'd wait until they had a
Super.
super, and then just rush the control point. They beat us 2 rounds, and then we figured out what they were doing.
Yeah, what we did to counter that is just so they would stay at the very spawn, right? But we would cover the hallways next to the spawn. We wouldn't go all the way to the spawn. So if they came down, they're gonna get hit first, and by the time that the timer is down, we'll be able to take it over, and they're weak. You know,
It was the worst part about it was boring because you had to basically wait 2 minutes to start your match.
Oh, we wouldn't let them wait. Like we
go
were
all
just
the way
like,
up there too.
Oh, like the first round's like, okay, they're not on left or right side. Let's push up a bit. Oh, okay, we know what they're doing. And by the time they realize that we're rushing them, they're all dead. And then so then they're a little more cautious the next round. But we would just keep annihilating them at the spawn. Oh, you want to stay up top there too? We'll snipe you. Oh, you want to stay really back up top? I got Icarus on my hand cannon. I'll hit you all day, son.
This is the problem we came across, because we do the MLG Destiny bounty. We do that every week, or every time that MLG comes out with a bounty, we'll compete.
Tell us about it.
Well,
for anybody who's listening who doesn't know what the MLG weekly bounty is.
Sure. So MLG bounty, I think before them, I think IGN posted out some bounties that they wanted to have the public do, just for a cool contest or something like that. Well, MLG is more of a competition, and they actually give out like a $600 prize for the winners.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much they have their streamers on there, at least one streamer per team. That has to be like a captain or recording to make sure that they're following the rules of the bounty. Pretty much they give out like a few steps in the bounty, and whoever gets those steps done in a row first wins. I think we had maybe 8 or 10 teams. Maybe more. I'm not sure exactly, but I know Dado participated in the last week, which was pretty cool. Math class, and but anyway, back on the PvP thing. Like I said, in MLG Bounty, it's a race, right? So when people were staying back there at Trials of Osiris, we're wasting a lot of time,
Oh yeah.
So it's 2 minutes. So what we end up doing is that we still wasted a lot of time, but the best strategy was throwing 2 arc bolt grenades up there at the same time.
Yep. Yeah.
And chain them, But if we weren't able to do that, we would have to just keep killing them. They kept rezzing each other, and then once somebody got a super, they would double blink up there and try to kill them. So it was pretty funny how it worked out, but it's unfortunate when people stay up there because you can't reach them in the Pantheon unless you have that double blink. So
yeah.
Yeah,
Did you run
definitely
into
a lot different than last week with the map. Definitely a different type of gameplay happening. It was fun.
It was
to kinda
interesting.
Switch it up.
Because
Well, the meta of the whole playlist changed. Like I think people were more accustomed. Like they got their teams together. Maybe I felt the competition was a little bit better or stronger in the second one than in the first one.
Yeah.
Did you guys find the same thing?
agreed.
I'm definitely going to agree with you there, Pope.
Yeah.
Like, I actually lost a game, or I lost a match.
What? Wait, you did?
Yeah, we were. I was helping carry some subs through to try to get 9-0 cards. On,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Holds the
on
man.
our stream, and our second guy, like, we ended up going up against a team who was really good, and like we just couldn't beat him. Ended up being 4-4, and then I hate to say it, but I choked when I was trying to snipe. I ran out of ammo. I was like, oh, I got this headshot. Why isn't it firing? No. Oh, I don't have ammo.
Yeah.
I don't have ammo.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. So I was like, well,
It sucks.
I'm gonna die.
It sucks when you put your first 2 rounds into the ground there, Patrick. Usually only-
Well, no,
I'm just-
mine has
ammo much
field.
faster than
Mine
that.
has field scout in final round, so I have to put the first
Oh.
5 rounds in.
What did you
I'm
think
just
about it,
kidding with
Pope?
you.
I mean, did you like it better than what do you call it? What was the Burning Shrine?
Burning Shrine.
They're totally different maps. I really liked Pantheon a lot because I enjoy sniping, and it did bring out a really big frustration I have with people dependent on final round and using the Ephrodite spear that has three in the magazine, so it's really easy to drop 2 into the ground, and then get a critical. It's just my personal opinion, but I don't think that any gun in the game, except unless it's a super, any killing thing in the game should be a one-shot body kill. Just flat out.
Agreed.
I think that unless you're a shotgun at arm's length, you need to have multiple rounds to complete your task, right?
No, I agree.
So that it was very frustrating for me to be, a better sniper, right? I'm trading kills with a guy who just has to hit me anywhere on the body.
Hit you in
And
the toe
I
and you're
have-
dead.
Right, and I have to shoot him in the head to get that same effect. So I know people are saying, well, why don't you just use your last
Final
round,
Yeah.
final round gun? And I guess I could, and I had a Ephrodite spear that I was on stream, and I just got so frustrated. It was a completely maxed out. I had already ascended it. It had Field Scout and a bunch of perks that I thought were really helpful for PvE as a solar damage sniper. It did not have final round in it, so I had a 365 Ephrodite spear that I re-rolled, and because I was so sick of being killed by final round snipers that I said, okay, I re-rolled it until I have something like 700 motes of light. So I re-rolled it to the point where I got exactly the most god rolls, set up on an Ephrodite spear, ranked it up, ascended it, and I'm going to be ready for the next trials, because literally if I get sniped once or shot by one person, I'm going to look through the menu. If anybody has a last round, final, I'm sorry, I keep saying last, but final round sniper, I am going to equip mine, and I'm just going to fight fire with fire. It just feels like that shouldn't be in the game. I know that sometimes some people are saying that makes me sound elitist to say that, but it just feels like that gameplay wise, there just shouldn't be anything that's a one-shot body kill.
No, we've had this conversation before with Wally
Yeah.
a bunch. I usually mention World of Warcraft every podcast. Wally couldn't go a single podcast without mentioning final round sniper rifles and how they
because
need to
it's
be
broken.
rotated.
It's bad.
It is
it's
broken.
Bad mechanic that should
yeah.
be taken out of the game.
No, I completely agree. It should just be taken out of the game.
It's a long
That's-
distance shotgun shot, is what it is.
Yeah. It's that. I mean, I was watching Triple Wreck and Miss 5000 Watts go up against a guy that, from the other team's perspective, this guy posted this YouTube video, kind of bragging that, I beat Triple Wreck. Yeah, he was using a final round sniper rifle, and it's like, dude.
Well, he mentioned that in a he kind of got frustrated and sent out a Twitter post, a picture of a shotgun with a glass,
Yeah.
break glass and
Yeah. Break glass in case of no gun skill.
right. And that sort of sentiment, he has a pretty wide audience base, and I think there's a really good conversation happening in the PvP community of Destiny, where people are starting to realize that in order for it to be competitive, there needs to be some more attention placed to weapon balancing, and some of the frustration on the higher end of, or like the sort of the top level players, isn't trying to say, oh, well, that noob shouldn't be able to kill me. That's not it. If a game is balanced all the way around, it benefits everybody who plays the game. Weapon balancing is something that is the most difficult thing to do in first-person shooters.
Yeah.
And in Destiny, it's even harder because you also have the PvE component. So I can see where he was coming from. I support him absolutely 100% on his views of last round, final round. I support him on his view of shotguns. This is something that in PvP, because I don't consider myself one of those elite players. I am a pretty, a slightly above average PvP player, and it just I shouldn't be able to kill somebody with that type of setup.
You brought up a good point as far as like, balancing out weapons, and I used to not like Pantheon, that map, but what I did like about that is it's actually balanced. It's symmetrical, right?
Yeah.
So in Burning Shrine, I felt like the people that were outside had a slight advantage because if you're looking out there, you have to see the sun, right?
Oh, absolutely true. That was the worst part about
So
like,
exactly.
trying to
So
help grind people. It's like, oh god, the other team they clearly have the 9.0. They've done it in 9.0 before. They have the emblem. Oh great, and they all have sniper rifles, and they're in the sun. Oh god, and I still need to find a date for prom. This is getting ridiculous.
And so that's why I ended up liking Pantheon. Like I didn't like it as a map, but when when you finally play enough matches on it, you actually get to know the map better. First of all, you adapt to your surroundings. I think me and Holtz were talking about it earlier, that there's actually a spot where you could run out on the left side where you're going towards the middle B, to where you can't get sniped. So you could
a lot
you
of people
could
that were
flank that way.
going. Yeah,
So-
a lot of people that are going middle would always go like the outer side, basically the outer side of
leaving
that
yourself
middle
vulnerable.
passage.
Yeah.
Where you can get sniped, or just get thorned. You don't have to get sniped. Just some dude with a thorn can kill you. But yeah, like there's a lot of movement options on Pantheon that you didn't otherwise notice, and I definitely enjoyed my time on it. I can't wait to see what map we're gonna get next week, so I can learn it even more. Learn some other nooks and crannies that I can then apply to my normal Crucible game.
So
It definitely came out of that knowing Pantheon in a much different way than what I had from Control or other game types. And now, like when I come into it on the Iron Banner, I'm like, oh, okay, there's some stuff I learned last weekend that I can now take into the Iron Banner on this map, and that's really valuable.
Exactly.
Do you feel like Trials has I don't want to say Trials has made me a better PvP player, but what it's done is it's made me more valuable to my team because I die less.
Mm-hmm.
When I came back to playing regular Control and Crucible, I found myself, my KDs went up considerably. I felt like I was lulled into a sense of dying and respawning as no big deal in regular Crucible. And after playing Trials for an extended period of time, I found myself being more cautious and more reserved with my lives. Ducking behind cover when I started getting low, and not just going out there and blindly just trading kills and being happy with that.
I think.
So, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say,
No.
I think the most valuable thing about Trials is that players are a lot more aware of their surroundings, like map awareness. Like you said, you probably don't die a lot more because you know where the fire is coming from. Because when it's just 3v3 in one map, you get to really know that map, especially if you're playing it constantly, back to back.
Yeah, it's a much more intimate setting. You're gonna learn everything possible if you're actually putting the time in. If you're one of those teams that just sits back at the very start of the map, you're not gonna learn anything.
Right.
Yeah. But what Pope saying is, like, in Control, you might like rush out and just try and build up as high a score as you can. But Trials is a different experience.
Exactly.
It really,
Score doesn't
you're
matter.
more tactical. Your single individual life matters much more than in Control, when you're just going to respawn continually.
Mm-hmm.
And I can definitely see where you're coming from with that, Pope. That's
I really felt like I got a strong. I just fell in love with, but Trials became what I've always wanted out of PvP in Destiny, and now honestly, we've got this Iron Banner stuff going on, right? And I'm not all that excited to play it, and it isn't because of some of it's because of the rewards I don't feel are that great. But it's more because I feel like the gameplay, the playlist is laggy, I feel, anyway. But if you get past the lag, the actual gameplay dynamics, I feel, I'm wanting something more like Trials.
Less chaotic.
Not necessarily the 1v1 situations like that, but more Trials-esque, and in that 6v6 combo, and I really am leaning towards something objective based is definitely needed in Destiny right now.
Right. And you're right. I think in Iron Banner and Crucible, even though if I'm in a team of 6, I still feel alone. In Trials, you really feel your other 2 teammates. Like you said, if they mess up, it's huge. In Crucible, you can't really...
said, yeah.
So like Holt said, it's a lot more intimate, so which is cool.
It's like your brothers in arms at that point. You're like, it just really matters, I think. So
the emotions go with the whole team too. Like your ups and downs are so felt. Yeah.
It's like, think about it. Like you know what's happening at every point in the map because you're always communicating it. And in Iron Banner, if everyone's communicating, it's just utter chaos. Like, so you end up going, oh, well, what just happened over on B? Why did we lose it? Oh, this and this and this happened. So, but in Trials, it's like, okay, there's a guy rushing me with a shotgun with a thorn. Okay, he's dead. Oh, but I'm gonna die to the Sunsinger dot that's on me. Okay, I'm dead. There's one person over here. There's this constant flow of information if you're playing it properly.
Yeah, the setup is different too, because in Iron Banner, it's just a grind. You get in there, you're there for 3 hours just trying to grind out rep so you can buy those boots or that armor or that gun. In Trials, it doesn't feel like a grind. It feels like 9 specific matches. Each one of them you're trying to win. Once your card is over, you're done unless you just go get another card. It doesn't have that same feel of just grinding for rep.
Yeah, one of the other biggest things in Trials is that you have to form a team. Everything is a pre-made. You are going up against a pre-made. It's like, it's pre-made versus pre-made. Whereas Iron Banner, it's like, oh, I want to go play some Iron Banner. You're 9 times out of 10 you're going to get pitted up against a 6-man pre-made that's just going to stomp you into the ground. No matter how good of a player you are, you can't really beat that.
and there's a lot more like let's go moments or like little clutch moments. Think about it. If it's going 2 people die quickly and this 1v3 and he pulls it off, you're just getting off your seat, pumped up, like ready to go.
Man, your heart's beating, right?
Exactly.
Like the adrenaline levels. I think that anybody, some of my buddies that are not strong PvP players that are avoiding Trials of Osiris, I'm grabbing them by the collar and I'm going, let's go. Come on. Let's jump. Exactly. You got to go in there. You got to try it, because the closest thing you can get to like that adrenaline that I used to feel in like hardcore search and destroy in Call of Duty.
Yes.
And capture the flag in
Halo.
Or in any PvP event at any point in time ever in like DayZ. Or I don't know if any of you guys ever played that, but man,
I played H1Z1 a little bit.
Okay, so like you spent the past 6 hours scrounging up this gun. You have this crappy rifle, and all of a sudden you just hear, oh my god, what the hell was that? And like some guy just shot you with or just like shooting at you with an automatic rifle, and
all you've got is a bow.
Is pounding. Yeah, it's like you are your heart is pounding the entire time. It's crazy.
So is there anything they can do to get you back into Iron Banner, or is Trials just kind of ruined Iron Banner?
Yes, they can. And
what's that?
It really has to do with They have to clean up some of the laggy issues, right? Find out what's going on with the network code, because it is.
They have improved the network code a little bit in Iron Banner. Today I got a Badger error, got kicked out of the game, and then immediately put back into the same game.
Right. So I understand. I understand they're playing around with it, and I appreciate that. But it is a little bit laggier playlist than any other playlist, right? And I'm not certain why, and I'm not Bungie network engineer and everything like that. But first and foremost, I solid games that aren't laggy. Second is to make it more competitive, in that the lives mean more in some way. I really feel like there shouldn't be as many points given. I think it should be locked down to supers should be gaining them very, very slowly, like in
So basically, like take some of the Inferno rules.
right. It should Iron Banner should be a mixture of Inferno and Trials in one, and the best of those worlds and put together. Trials could Iron Banner could be a really amazing playlist, 6v6. I really want that. I want something to do with my buddies, 6v6, that is competitive, and it has an objective, and it's not control. I want VIP, or I want capture the flag. I want something that my team has to set up, control spawns, and obtain an objective.
I agree.
So
Yeah,
that's how they get me.
Yeah, I definitely think Iron Banner can be reworked more. I mean, we've already seen that they're willing to, put some more effort into it, as well as we saw with the original Iron Banner redoing. So maybe we'll see more again, because people are clearly like Trials.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily saying they need to make it.
Do you think
make it more like
it's in our
Trials.
world, Patrick? Do you think that's in our world, like the people that
No.
we play with, or is that universal?
That's universal.
I think it's
think
universal.
so?
I think
Yeah.
so too. Our
You
entire
know,
clan
what about
loves
the people
Trials.
on-
much more casual.
What
And
about
like my raid group is much more casual. They
Yeah.
never played Iron Banner. Never. They absolutely love Trials.
Yeah.
why? What do they love about it? Because
It's the adrenaline rush of the 3-man team. It's the loot. It's the way you fill out that card. It's just everything about it. It is so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Trials of Osiris is just intense, and Iron Banner was never that intense. It never was. It just felt like another control game type where you had to grind a whole bunch to get different loot. It never felt that special. Trials of Osiris feels different. It feels special. It's got its own game type. It never felt that special. Iron Banner never felt that special. It just had different gear that you had to grind for. Trials
Okay.
feels completely different.
Well, one of the things is, like, keep in mind, Iron Banner, it feels like original Destiny. It's really grindy. They've put in some stuff to kind of help out with that, but at the end of the day, it's a very grindy playlist that you have to do over and over
They
again.
said they reduced the cost of his items. You know how much Etheric Light costs from him? 5,000 Glimmer.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a lot of Glimmer.
I mean, it could be worse, because I misread it at the start and I thought it said 25,000. And I was like, oh Jesus.
You know what Bungie can do is, why don't they make Iron Banner 6v6 Trials?
That'd be great. I'd be on board with that.
And then what you can do, because there's gonna be so many revives, what you can do by the second death, you can't revive anymore.
Well, what they should honestly do is just have it so each person can only revive themselves so many times before they have to get res.
Oh, so you have a certain amount of lives, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so you have a certain amount of lives before you have to count on your teammates to resurrect you. So people will still be playing cautiously, but I don't think they need to make it so, like, Trials is the way PvP will be from here on in. They can definitely learn from it. What makes Trials interesting? It's the fact that you can't, revive yourself. And it's, a 3-man, you're always going up against a pre-made. So if they made it so, not necessarily always going up against a pre-made, but you had to count on your team a little bit more. All right, so switching gears now, we can go. I want to. We seem to bring this up every week. I want to get everyone's opinion on Prison of Elders, because let's not talk about Skolas, because I think we already talked about that at the beginning there quite a bit. But just overall, aside from Skolas, how do you feel about Prison of Elders? Is it, does it take place? One of the most popular questions I get on both YouTube videos and when I'm streaming is, hey, do you think Prison of Elders takes the place of a raid. What do you think about that question?
I think you're talking about apples and oranges, and it shouldn't be even considered taking the place of or being anything associated to a raid, because it's none of those things. It's something unique, and it's something that I find fun and engaging, and it's collaborative. It's unfortunate that it's fun that it's 3v3. Still miss my raid team. We can go back and do Vault of Glass, but I think that Prison of Elders is a lot of fun. It's strategic, it's challenging, and to me, it's endgame content that keeps me engaged and playing every week.
Yeah, I think I agree with Pope. I mean, you can't really compare the two, Raid and Prison of Elders together, because, again, maybe the only thing similar is the amount of time you're in there. Maybe 40 minutes, or depending on how many wipes that you die in there. But anyway, I think I like the fact that they changed the burns, and we talked about it earlier that could change the mechanics. But to me, I wish there was a little bit more. Like, let's say, Skola's, the way to beat him this week is this way, and then next week it's a totally different mechanic. Not just burns, but he doesn't do a poison, and this time, instead of mines come out, let's say a VIP comes out or something like that.
I like that.
So kind of change it up a little bit, because even with the burns, you're still doing the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with the mines, you burn them down, and all that stuff. But I think if they, they're on the right track. I think if they change up a little bit more, I think that'll keep us more hyped for the next week, because we have no idea how it's going to be. So
I think you bring up a good point about the critical objective. I would have wanted to have seen more of a variety of critical objectives.
I agree.
Definitely.
There's only 3, right? VIP, the mines, and the Splinter Mine or something.
VIP, destroy mine, capture mine. Exactly.
Right.
One of the things that I like about the level 34 boss fight this week is that it's interesting. It's a multi-layered fight. You have this.
Yeah.
You have the boss,
Mm-hmm.
which honestly can just be Gallahorn down. I'll just toss that out there at the beginning. But if you decide not to do that, and you want to actually do the fight properly, it's really interesting. There's a bunch of ads that spawn, and they're kind of like sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
They slowly make their way towards this big servitor thing.
Kavix,
If they get
or
close
what's his name?
enough,
Kavix, I think.
Kelloggs.
Yeah.
We just call them Kellogg's. Yeah. So they
cereal.
slowly make their way towards Kellogg's, and
The serial killer.
yeah. They slowly make their way towards Kellogg's, and if they do, he consumes them and heals his health. So that's why he has kind of a low amount of health. But then at 50%, there's a critical objective that happens as well during the fight. So it's not just a simple ad spawn, kill ads, damage boss, kill ads, kill boss. It's, you're killing ads. Oh crap, we just knocked it over to 50%. Now there's a critical objective. We had to kill a VIP in ours. I don't know if it's the same in everyone's. But yeah, we had to kill a VIP during ours, which is pretty chaotic.
Right.
It was pretty chaotic.
And it's different.
And
it's the
that
first
VIP had some health.
Yeah, he had a lot of health in that fight.
Yeah.
So it was a really, I don't know, I really enjoyed that fight. It honestly felt really similar to Skolas, because you have to, here's this Skolas thing, okay, you have to kill these servitor things so you can damage Skolas, so there's that layer, and then you damage him, okay, now he's at this percent, okay, now he's poisoned us, there's all, Skolas is actually a very interesting fight, mechanic-wise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic fight. I wish they would change some things. Like I said, we shouldn't talk about Skolas, and here I am talking about him. Skolas himself isn't that difficult. What makes him difficult is the ads, and the fact that they're also level 35.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the delta scaling that I didn't enjoy seeing in the fight.
This week, though, with Voidburn, it felt like it was a fair fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it felt...
Absolutely.
Yeah, because everything's dying in one shot with To My Word of Crota. My void damage effort eats spears, doing like 11,000 damage to Skolas every precision shot. It felt good.
Were y'all a bit disappointed that none of the rounds prior to Skola's change?
Yeah, I'm really disappointed in that, actually. How do you guys feel about, like, basically it repeating on a low, like level 34 gets repeated as level 32.
It was revenge.
Yeah. Kodos was the first
Quodron
boss.
had that coming. That guy had it coming. There were a lot of fire teams out there that were very happy about the new patch, how Quodron got nerfed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't know. I never had difficulty with him. For anyone who hasn't done the Quodron fight, basically it's this giant Vex dude. You know, standard rules apply there. He's an asshole. And during the fight, he puts up detainment bubbles similar to the ones in Vaulted Glass. The trick here though is that they have a lot of health. You have to kill this one ad that allows you to do more damage to these bubbles. Like, it's a really long, grindy fight, but I never felt that it was that difficult. It was more of a marathon race than a sprint like Skolas or some of the other fights in there can be.
Well, you're in the minority there.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the minority.
Most of us were really pissed off that Quodron was such a pain in the ass, and the bugs of the eyes of Quodron not showing up when we needed them.
Here.
I mean, those guys just didn't show up sometimes. Sometimes you just could not shoot your way out of that bubble. If you were lucky, you had a warlock who could self-res after you all died. But yeah, Quodron was a real pain in the neck at 34. I was super psyched to see him addressed in the latest patch because obviously they saw that things weren't working quite like Bungie wanted them to, and they fixed it almost immediately, and that was really cool to see Bungie do. We don't know. I mean, the difference between 32 and 34 Quodron. I mean, maybe it would have made a big difference. Maybe it wouldn't. It definitely seemed a lot easier to get out of those bubbles this time around.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But yeah, I would say you're in the minority there, Patrick.
It was pretty funny. After we did the podcast and you were talking about, sometimes this happens where you can't, an eye simply doesn't spawn. And I was like, wow, that would suck to happen. It happened. One of my friends just came back to the game, and I was like, yeah, dude, we'll grind you through. Yeah, he's a level 33 in there. He died every single time one of those things came up, and we just had to, just suffer through it a little bit.
Yeah.
See, what I wish they would have done with Prison, too, because it's funny, we're all talking about the bosses, right? Because now all the rounds prior to the bosses are kind of irrelevant. Don't you guys think? And they're pretty much just grinding now.
It feels like you're grinding patrol missions.
Yeah, so what would have been cool
I have to do this and this.
is if 35, all the rounds were just different bosses. And then just flip it all around,
That would be fantastic for my Elder Cypher party.
But yeah, so I just feel like the rounds now are just kind of like, okay, we're here killing a few things.
The only times where you really have to pay attention are we have to dismantle mines.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, so we'll have to, airborne's active, so don't jump up to those mines, guys.
It's funny because I've actually gotten lulled to sleep in there and totally forgot about the mines. And then they did wipe us out.
Well, I'm hoping they do some adjustments to the fallen or PoE weapons.
Yes,
and make their perks a little bit better. Like their specialty perks should be a little bit cooler.
Honestly, there needs to not be as many perks on there either, because right now there's I think like 8 total perks that you can get. It's like Vandal Burn, Shank Burn, 2 different things that do stuff to captains, and then there's just Fallen Burn in general, which is abysmally low. It only does 75 damage. That's a level of RNG that didn't need to be on the weapons, especially if they're denying us like a second tier perk.
So you're talking about the weapons that Varric sells, or
Yes.
you get from killing bosses.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So the ones that Varric sells don't even have like arc damage.
No, the primaries that you can get from him don't have elemental damage on them.
Right, and then if that's another round of LMG or RNG, is that if you do happen to get a primary as a drop, then what if you get I got a shotgun that does it may stun a captain, but it has solar burn. Yeah, it may stun a captain, but it has solar burn. So this, I'm never gonna use this. Captains have arc shields. There's no reason to ever use a shotgun.
I mean, once again here, I guess the Destiny gods just smiled down upon me, because I got a hand cannon with solar damage with Shank Burn on it. Oh,
yeah!
That's not bad.
Man!
I hope you're using that in this week's Nightfall.
Start calling you a Shank Master.
I use my Fatebringer like everyone else.
Well,
Sweet
and that
Snake Fall
and
was
that's
so
and
good.
that's the point. I haven't kept a single weapon. Have you guys kept any of the weapons from?
I've kept one of each that I've gotten so far.
I've kept one of each, but that's just because I know I'm gonna have to do a review on it, and as soon
No,
as I
I
do
mean,
a review,
like,
it's
when
getting dismantled.
And what I meant is by keeping it as you found it useful and you're gonna use it.
Oh no. Well, actually, I need a good void damage LMG, and the one from Prison of Elders is good.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's-
have one. I use I think it's Obelisk of something. It's I forgot what it is. It's an LMG though. I use it all the time. It's void damage. It's from the Fallen. So
Chain of Orbix Fell.
there you go. That's
I'm
it.
looking at it right now.
That's
It's a really great. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't want to pull it up, it has the main stats that you should go with here are accurized ballistics for more range and impact. Then it just comes standard with counterbalance, so its stability is insane, and you don't need to get one of the stability perks from smooth ballistics. And then you can go with fitted stock to increase the stability. You can go with hammer forge. I just go with extended mag, so you can have a 57 round magazine. And then mine has Vandal Burn.
It was a god this week in Skull's fight. Just
Oh,
with
yeah.
the
Oh,
void,
yeah.
void burn. So
Oh yeah, I used my effort eat spear, and then my that machine gun. It did the trick. We kicked our teeth in trying to complete it with truth, and it just wasn't doing enough damage. But then
what did you say you
Nah,
used
Truth
for your
doesn't
primary?
do it.
For the void
Word
burn?
of Crota.
Okay.
Word of Crota.
I used Scholar because I got a void roll on
Nice.
that one from the
Nice
trial.
Yeah,
So.
I definitely would have used that.
I got a pretty good void roll on the Jewel of Osiris.
Oh,
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
I think everyone's wanting to get like a solar one because that'll complete the trifecta of hand cannons.
And the jewels.
Yeah,
Yep.
I got the Jewel. Yes, the Jewel of Osiris is a hand cannon. I got a solar and a void one, and I really want it. I don't need an arc one because I have Fatebringer, but
Exactly.
ironically, I find that the Jewel of Osiris is actually better for me in PvE than elemental PvE than it is in PvP. And it's it's a PvP hand cannon. Well, you get it from the
it's a
Trials of
PvP hand
Osiris,
cannon.
but I find that I'm using it more in PvE than in PvP.
Yeah, mine has arc damage on it, so I'm just using it to kill these fallen right here, right now. Yeah, it's a great hand cannon. I enjoy it.
it's
For
fun to use.
anyone listening that hasn't gotten one yet, all the weapons from Trials of Osiris have the exact same perks. So like this one has Icarus for improved accuracy while airborne, and you have a choice between Snapshot, Flared Magwell, or Perfect Balance, but you go with Perfect Balance on this thing because
Nice.
the base stability is a little bit low. And then Third Eye, so your radar is always active, which is one of my biggest things I like seeing.
So when
It's a-
Yeah,
when
so
you-
back to the Prison and Elders weapons, it's kind of weird that they're so randomized because
Yeah.
you get excited when you see one pop up, but then you look at the perks or the burn type and you're just like, this is not going to be useful for anything.
And here's the thing, the elemental primaries only drop off Skolas,
let's go.
and they are a low chance.
yeah,
They are a very low chance. Like
I've got
killed
as
him.
many of those as I've gotten Elder Ciphers.
I've gotten all three. I got 3 Elder Ciphers this week, or I got 2 of them this week. But
I actually got 3 this week as well.
anyway, Elder Ciphers is the exotic bounty that drops off a 34 boss and 35. Is that right? Did I say
Yeah,
that right?
it
And
has
I-
a chance of dropping off the end boss.
I
And
haven't
before
gotten
35.
M at all.
Really?
You should try running level 35 because I got 2.
Yeah, it
off
has the
Skolas.
highest chance. Is the 35 level 35?
I got 2 off Skolas in one run. Like
Well-
I killed him and then 2.
LT, you may not know
drops.
this about me, but I have notoriously bad RNG luck.
Hey, I just got Hawkmoon 2 weeks ago. I know how you feel.
Yeah.
I that's still pretty bad, but like I if there's something that is to be gotten, I will be the last of my group to get it.
I think you and Hawk will get along just fine.
Yeah, we'll commiserate together.
So what do you guys think about the new exotic weapons then?
Has anyone here actually used them?
I use the Lord
yeah.
of Wolves, and that's about it. So
How do you like it? Because that's the
I don't.
one I haven't used. Oh, you
You don't like it? I love it. I
I-
think it's so much fun.
I think it's a weapon that I would use to troll. You know, kind of just have a good time.
Okay, so you're talking PvP?
Yeah, for PvP.
Okay.
But no,
Yeah,
I actually do love it in PvE. I mean,
it's
it wrecks.
fantastic in
Solar
PvE.
burn is just amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for
It
PvP,
has a susceptibly whatever. Its range is a lot larger than
Deceptively.
Yeah, deceptively.
Especially if you
it's
got the full
deceptively
perks.
large range. Yeah.
So
It takes them a while to get used to because most shotguns are used to just pulling that trigger, pop, and then you're out. But this thing is like boom, 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 and it's more like a pulse rifle
There
that
you go.
has low range.
exactly.
But it's just fun to use, and it burns things down really fast, like real fast.
It'll take down those shanks pretty quick too.
Oh yeah, those things didn't
And
even see it coming.
it doesn't even have shank burn on it.
Exactly.
Now, how is it? It's solar damage, right?
That's right.
Yep,
It's its cousin to the Fourth Horseman in a way.
it feels very much like the Fourth
Mhm.
Horseman.
Okay, and I'm glad that they're both not solar. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like that seems like something that may have been a mistake that they had done earlier, where the weapon, very similar class weapons had similar elemental.
Dragon's Breath and Galahorn.
Yeah, I mean, why are you doing two exotics? Yeah, so exactly my point.
It's really good against the Cabal too, with all the fire shields. Takes them down pretty quick.
Queensbreaker bow. I have not gotten a chance. Anybody gotten a chance to use that yet?
I have not. I've used the sidearm and I've used the Lord of Wolves. The Lord of Wolves is the better of the two that I've tried. The main problem with Dreg's Promise is that it doesn't. It feels exotic, but it doesn't feel like a useful exotic. It's difficult to explain. It's like, yeah, you can kill stuff with it. But it feels like a cross between a fusion rifle and a pulse rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has the range of a fusion rifle, but then it fires a burst. So and then it does about a little bit less damage than one fusion rifle burst. So you have to get off 2 to equal a fusion rifle.
Mm-hmm. But it happens much faster.
Much faster, much faster. Great rate of fire, great stability. You know, you can go brat, take something out.
Brat.
How would you compare it to the Vestian Dynasty?
I'd say the Vestian Dynasty is better. Honestly,
But like feel wise,
Feel-wise?
obviously it's a burst gun as opposed to Vestian Dynasty, which is a semi-auto.
It honestly, in PvE, it doesn't. Actually, for both PvP and PvE, it doesn't even feel like it's in the same weapon class. That's how different.
Wow.
It is. That's why I had so much difficulty putting my thoughts down for the review. It's so much different than anything else in the game, and that's why I like all these fallen exotics. They're all different than everything else in the game right now, and they definitely feel exotic. They're delivering on that aspect.
This may be a newbie question, but is there another sidearm other than Vestian Dynasty?
No, it's Vestian Dynasty
The
and
only
Dreg's
one, right?
Promise
Okay,
are the
okay.
only ones in our database right now.
That's
So
what
we
I
may
thought.
see more in the future if they put in a raid. Then yeah, we might see one. If they when the Taken King comes out, we might start seeing them put some more in. We might see the vendors in the tower start selling some. That might be cool.
But yeah,
There was a
I guess
strong initial reaction to the Vestian Dynasty.
Oh,
People
yeah.
thought that
It's
thing was
cool.
overpowered like right off the bat.
It's
No,
cool looking too.
Dado put it really well in his video about the Vestian Dynasty. It's like, look, people thought it was overpowered because everyone got it and everyone was using it in PvP. So that's all that you saw. And then once people kind of realized how to counter it, which is just simply outrange it, it was fine. Like it's a decent weapon, but it serves a weird purpose in PvP, and then PvE.
I
is
like
so
it quite a
bad.
bit. I think it's a fun weapon. to
Yeah,
use.
fun is the word you want to use to describe Vestian Dynasty.
It's funny because I've never even seen it in PvP. I've never
Really?
run
Oh, really?
across it. Yeah, so I don't know if people have stopped using it or not.
I'm still using it. I've been using it in Iron Banner too.
Yeah,
I like seeing it in Trials of Osiris because I'm like, well, free win.
free win.
Yeah, because it's in PvP, it has the range drop off on most weapons is like, okay, if I hit someone from across the map with my Hawk Moon, it's not going to do 97. It's going to do 89 damage or something.
Mm-hmm.
But with Vestian Dynasty, the damage drop off goes from I'm doing 51 body shot or I'm doing 51 body shots to I'm doing 0.
Yeah.
Like it is a harsh drop off.
Does the Drake's Promise do that as well?
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten a chance to use the Queensbreaker bow, but I've got a couple of clanmates who do have it, and they're enjoying it quite a bit because it's like a charged up sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Like you charge it to fire it, and that's a lot of fun. I've heard that people had some success with it in trials, which surprised me.
The kicker about it is that it has a very large ammo capacity, similar to Lord of Wolves. Like you start with a lot of ammo, and you don't really have to refill that much. Most people have a lot of difficulty sniping because you're small reticule, but add on top of that, you have to charge up your shot. It's difficult to use it properly, or so I've heard.
Are people using it like a pulse rifle, or I'm sorry, a fusion rifle, where they're constantly charging it, and then finally when they have the shot, they let it go?
Its charge rate is quick enough that you don't really have to constantly charge it. There's two modes on it. There's like quick charge and slow charge. Slow charge will do more damage, but it's still only going to be a 2-shot body shot, 1-shot headshot. So you might as well use the quick charge.
Yeah, I haven't used it. I don't know much about it, but I've also seen people use it no scoping. I've seen some videos that way, which is pretty cool.
It has a very, very high accuracy when hip firing, just like a fusion rifle.
Exactly.
So you can quick scope with it very easily.
That's a fun option right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I might actually have to try, because usually during the scope in time, there's enough time for you scoping in, get on their head.
Right.
So you can, what I generally do is I scope in, and the instant I'm scoped in, I want to fire. So this might actually be a really interesting weapon for me to try out. I have 3 Elder Cipher bounties, so I know the first 2 I'm going to get whenever they decide to do that. I'm going to go try out Queenbreaker's bow first. Alright guys, I think this is the end of the 20th Planet Destiny podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it. I think we had some good discussions here. If you guys want to find me, you can find me at Holtzman_PD.
I've been the Briar Rabbit. You can find me at the Briar Rabbit on Twitter, or at the Briar Rabbit channel on YouTube.
And this is Pope Bear, and I'm on Twitter at Pope Bear, and I'm on the Twitch streams. So you can find those by going into our Planet_Destiny Twitch channel, and in the chat line hitting !schedule, and you'll find all the schedules for the streamers. Briar, are you going to be joining us soon?
Hopefully very soon.
Good, cool.
And I'm LTJohn5. You can find me on Twitter at LTJohn5, and obviously I stream on mlg.tv/LTJohn5 as well. And guys, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun, and hope to see you guys on Destiny.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to, after this podcast is over, I think we should go play some Iron Banner for a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you next week.